Hello, and welcome to the Comfy Cozy podcast of Comfy Cozy Creative Corner Discord server fame. My name is Bank. You probably don't remember me very well, if you even know me at all. I used to be a semi-regular on the server, and I'd share art, and usually, talk shit with Greg and all sorts. The podcast thing sort of just came about from a time I was in voice chat with Ria also present, and I guess we were just kind of talking about human furniture, and then people thought that would kind of be like a fun little thing for you guys to do a little podcast. Now, of course, I kind of got tired of like trying to plan around that stuff, and that kind of fell through. But I thought it would be really funny if I just kind of did this anyway, right now, like years later. Because, I don't know. It's kind of like Captain Ahab said in his smoldering monologue in chapter 37 of Moby Dick, where he goes, "Naught is an obstacle for the Iron Way." And the Iron Way is me thinking it'd be funny. So I don't really expect you to stick around. Like, I'm sure you could find something else on your second screen. I mean, there's a new season of Blowback. It came out a bit ago, I think. It's about Cambodia and Laos this time, I'm pretty sure. So you can go listen to that. It's pretty interesting with like Pol Pot and that kind of stuff. Honestly, that's a really good podcast too. They did Afghanistan and Cuba and I forget. That's pretty good though. It's pretty partisan. So definitely, if you're a bit of a Rand Paul libertarian type, this might not be for you. Anyway, but you're also very welcome to stick around with me. I'm probably not going to talk too much about like the Fidalistas, as cool as that might be. I'm probably just going to like shoot the shit. So enjoy. Did you are you following the developments of the Bob Dylan movie? I'm not. Don't Blue Clues this. Yes, Bank. Yes, I am. No, I've been looking at that from the sideline. I'm admittedly a bit of a hater, not of Bob Dylan. I'm a big Bob Dylan fan. Don't get me wrong. Not just like I like 63 to 68. No, man. Like I like all of it. I think it's a damn good he's a good musician. Even the Christian stuff I think is pretty good. Even his latest stuff I think is pretty good. Bob Dylan underrated. And no, sorry. I'm not gonna get lost in the weeds already. Look, they're making this biopic, and I always think that's like a bad omen for musicians. I can't really think of a lot of times a movie about a musician is like great. A lot of people really like Bohemian Rhapsody by Bryan Singer with Rami Malek, and I think that movie like sucks. I think like Rami Malek fucking sucks in that movie. Everyone's like, oh, I love how he's slobbering on his big dentures and how he acts literally nothing like Freddie Mercury. He's like a weird freak. He's like an alien. And look, that's for someone else for sure. But I still think it's interesting. I think it's kind of because Timothée Chalamet is an interesting choice for Bob Dylan. Like, Bob Dylan is not like a pretty boy. He kind of was for a little bit, like back in the 60s, but not in the... Look, man, Pretty Boys, that was kind of a different era for Pretty Boys. Like, now you can see people going, dude, Al Pacino in the 70s, he's so cute. He's like a little baby bird. And that's kind of true. I think there's like some truth to that. But they didn't think that in the 70s, man. That's not like what people were thinking. I don't even know if a lot of people even cared for Al Pacino and like the as an attractive boy in his heyday. Certainly not now, unless you're like really like 83-year-old deadbeats. Did you see that video where he's like it's an interview where they're asking how present he is with raising his like 1-year-old son, and he's just like, I text him. I do think that's great. I fucking love elderly Al Pacino being a deadbeat dad. I think that's like kind of hilarious. with respect to the kids, I hope they're okay. I assume like the Al Pacino name and fortune will get them very far, but fuck, they're gonna have some like weird daddy issues. They're gonna grow up and be looking at like Dog Day Afternoon and go, I mean, this is a pretty good movie, but fuck this guy. But also like you're living off his trust fund. I don't really know what it's like for your dad to be like a very famous actor who just like died when you were 4, and then you live off like his fortune and name. I don't know. That's what was I talking about? Yes, the Bob Dylan movie. I think it's kind of odd. I don't really know who is going to get introduced to Bob Dylan through Timothy Chalamet. I think it's a weird pick, because he is kind of doing an impression of Bob Dylan, but he can't really sing. And like, well, he can, like, he doesn't have like a bad voice, but Bob Dylan has a bad voice, but he's a good singer, so he can kind of like elevate it that way. But he sounds like a bit weird, but that's fine. I listen to a lot of Bob Dylan. I don't think like being just a good singer, having a good voice, like qualifies you for like being a famous musician. It means you might win on like American Idol or whatever the fuck, but I don't think you need to like have the real pipes. That's something different. It's more artistic. And I don't know. That's just kind of like a weird pick with it. I do think there's like a kind of stench to I'm forgetting the name. A Complete Unknown, I think is what they're going for. It's not I'm Not There. That's the one with Kate Blanchett and Christian Bale, where they're all playing Bob Dylan. That's at least like an interesting one they went with, where they're like, Bob Dylan, he's this little black kid, and he's Kate Blanchett in a suit, and he's Christian Bale, and he like, yeah, that's kind of true. There's like an elusiveness to Bob Dylan's performance, how he constantly kind of changes what he's all about, and for the last 20 years he's just kind of looked like an obscure kind of David Lynch character that just plays in like empty bars, even though he is like one of the most massively critically acclaimed musicians of the 20th century and probably still fills out stadiums. He's still like touring, man. I don't know how he does that. He's like 84 years old. And I don't like, I know plenty of old like rotting ghouls are doing it, but they all like suck ass now. And that doesn't seem to be the case with Bob Dylan. People are pretty satisfied. Like, he walks out, he goes, and then he like plays for like, I don't know, he probably gets like 12 songs out, and then he's out. I think that's pretty good. Like, I just today, I watched a video of, what's the name of Hall from Hall & Oates? David Hall? That can't be right. Gary Hall? No fucking shot. I don't know. I don't remember his name. Anyway, Hall from Hall & Oates, the guy who doesn't have the mustache. And he's just like, he probably been playing for 15 minutes, and he just goes like, nah, I'm sorry, I have to leave. I can't. And I, like, that's, again, I know a lot of people paid a lot of money to watch this 78-year-old play music for them, but also, like, when you do that, you do kind of know there is a chance that he's just gonna die on stage. And, like, that's fine. No, that wouldn't be fine. I don't hope that's how he goes out. I like Man-Eater and You Make My Dreams Come True. Ooh, I think that's good music. Out of Touch, we like that. We definitely love Hall & Oates on the CCP. Not talking about Bob Dylan at all. That's definitely like kind of a hard one to parse, because like, imagine getting into Bob Dylan as like a 12-year-old now because you think Timothy Chalamet is cool, which I don't even know if they do. Timothy Chalamet was like the teenage heartthrob like 10 years ago. He's almost 30. I don't think he has that in him anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. I am not like very in touch with the people. I don't really listen to what's hot and what's not. I just kind of like look at my Twitter. And through that, I'm going to go like, there's like, there are movies coming out. Disney are doing a remake of this thing. Opinions are split. It's going to be the best-selling movie ever made. more people are going to watch the sequel to the Lion King remake, the prequel about Mufasa, than anyone ever went to watch literally fucking the Lion King in the 90s. Because, I don't know. I guess there are like 16 million more people who have nostalgia for the Lion King than that ever watched the Lion King. I don't know. I don't really know how it works. I don't know if Disney is like spawning mothers in the holidays. I don't know. And you know what? That's none of my business. If they do that, that's fine. I'm sure they're lovely people. But watching a movie and going like, I love this guy. I want to learn about like the actual guy. And then like you find Bob Dylan and like you're gonna look him up. You'll find like a contemporary picture of him and he looks like a rotting cowboy with a pencil mustache. Maybe you think that rocks and you'll go back to like the 60s and you're gonna go like, some of this sounds pretty good. I wish that mouth harp didn't like blow out like my fucking eardrum. Have you ever listened to Bob Dylan with like a headset or like on the bus? Like I really do think he will hit you with like The Gates of Eden or My Back Pages or like genuinely like some of those beautiful songs, and then he's gonna blow that harp so fucking loud, man. That was not made for headphones in mind. And maybe that's why Bob Dylan should just be forgotten. Maybe Timothée Chalamet is like inflicting like ear damage to another generation of teenagers. Maybe it should just be done. No, you can still listen to like his later stuff. He kind of quit the harp after the 70s mostly. But then like Timothée Chalamet having to do like 70s era Dylan instead of early 60s when he's in the village hanging out with Joan Baez and like Woody Guthrie. I don't think so. Like I'm sure you could probably make a more fun movie out of it to get that era, the divorce era, but you know, you'd also have to like get Timothée Chalamet to sing Hurricane, and he does like throw a hard R out in that one. And that, like, I don't know how they would do that. If you like check the Spotify playlist for the soundtrack of the movie, and it just goes like Timothée Chalamet, Hurricane, explicit. What am I talking about, man? There is no fucking way any of you give a shit about Bob Dylan. I'm sorry. What's like a more topical thing? Nothing's like going on anymore. I guess there was an election, but I don't think that's. I don't think you wanna like be reminded of that right now. I think that's a bad topic. Did you see? Speaking of bad topics, that happened a while ago. Did you see Iron Mike get fucking almost killed by a YouTuber? You know, I had a lot of friends who were like really waiting for like Mike Tyson to finally execute one of the Pauls. I forget which one. The one that looks like he's gonna get killed by Jason Statham in like the first 10 minutes of like a movie that your dad falls asleep to. That guy with the big nasty beard. That big nasty fucking beard. Yay. Anyway, sorry. My mind is like a slippin'. My ADHD meds have run their course. It's well over 12 hours ago I took them, so chill out, man. It's fine. Why am I talking? Right, he almost killed Mike Tyson. No, he didn't. He definitely went easy on him. I didn't like watch it. I'm not that fucking. I'm not gonna go, I'm so tapped out of culture and then go, yeah, I watched the fight between Paul and Tyson. Yeah. I did see the video of Mike Tyson behind the scenes like kissing a guy on the cheek and then walking off with like his huge juicy ass hanging out with like the the thing they have the guys wear under their boxing shorts that's basically like assless shorts or whatever anyway. I had a lot of friends who were really hoping to see what everyone really hoped to see, but like it really reminds you that like you're gonna die one day. Like, not because you're gonna get punched by a YouTuber, hopefully not. But like, man, age is such a debuff. And I'm not really feeling that yet. Like, obviously, I'll dox myself a little bit. I'm 23 years old. Like, I'm young. I'm not even at 25. I don't feel like I even get to like say anything about like, oh, I feel like 25 maybe is like when you get to pretend to be wearing like the big boy pants. But even then, like 30 is the new 20. Like who cares? You're basically like a teenager up until you're 28. Maybe it's like mitigated if you're one of those like people who just like have a kid at 22. Then maybe you kind of have to be an adult by then. That's kind of a mindset. But like, I'm born in 2001. Like, I don't really remember 9/11. You know, I like video games. I like I don't know. I have posters on my wall of I don't actually have posters on my wall. It would be like a good argument though, like if I had like a Funko Pop or like a Transformers poster or like something very, not gonna say juvenile in case like you're sitting there with your Funkos. I'm just saying like we're kids for a long time, kind of. It sticks with us. We're kind of like a generation of self-infantilizing. I don't know, something or other. It feels different. We're also tapped into like younger shit for a longer time, you know? Like, or maybe that's not true. Maybe it's just that there is such a constantly changing youth culture, because like a lot of people go, "Oh, Gen Alpha, we don't understand that." Like, fuck you. You're not talking to Gen Alpha. If you're like 23 and you meet a 17-year-old, that's basically a Gen Z or your peers. You'll be chilling like 3 years, all right? Like, it's fine. Gen Alpha, they're like shitting their diapers, okay? They're not real. They're not changing the shit you're watching. They're not even in the numbers for like being considered like relevant. Like, if Gen Alpha is gonna walk in and watch Mufasa in the theaters, Disney's not gonna care what they thought, because they're not paying for the ticket. Their moms are. And like the moms, that's the opinion that matters, all right? People say that the 18 to 25 male demographic is like disproportionately relevant when it comes to like ratings. You have not considered like the single moms who plan like the outings for Christmas, okay? Like, I don't know what the age range is, and I don't know if this is true. I'm making this up, but that's like dominant, because like the most dog shit fucking movie you've ever heard of is gonna become like the big hit. All right, people are gonna go, "What? A live action How to Train Your Dragon?" Again, I kind of remember that. I kind of think that would be awesome to look at. I like don't think about a lot of stuff. No, that's not true. They think about a lot. I think in this one instance of being completely fucking clueless and not thinking at all, that's like the one little thing they don't think about. Because they were thinking about like, we got to get the right seats. They were ordering the ticket. They made the breakfast that morning, and they're gonna make the lunch and dinner too. They got laundry. They gotta remove like fucking their stupid husband's like clothes that he just randomly drops on a chair when he doesn't know where to use it, because she also, you know, does all the laundry. You know, she's gotta like drive little Dennis to school, and she then just after that, like, she's gotta pick Dorothy up from her Steely Dan rehearsal. her 8-year-old Steely Dan daughter. God help the fucking 8-year-old Steely Dan fan. That's a fucking terrifying concept. Fuck. That was kind of a bad bit. That wasn't anything at all. That's okay. Did you see Mike Tyson talking about Legacy to that like 13-year-old girl? Fuck, man, that kind of like, that was pretty funny. I don't think Mike Tyson's a very good guy. I don't think he's a very intelligent guy either. Like, that's not me going fuck him. I'm just saying like he got hit in the head for 30 years for a living. Also, like, I do think he's a bad guy, right? Like, there's definitely like some stuff that Mike Tyson got up to in any kind of fugue state or lucidly. I'm not like, I don't know. This is all speculation. And he's definitely not like a guy where I should go, he's one of the best. I love him. Who could ever? He's like the Danny DeVito of martial arts. I don't know, okay? That's not really what I'm thinking. But he did tell that 13-year-old girl, was like, what do you want your legacy to be? And he's like, I don't care. We're going to turn to dust. What do I care about? Like, that's ego stuff. That's just like a word people are hanging on to. By the end, we'll be dead. I think that's like pretty good. I think that's also like a fair thing to say when you just got paid like a lot of money to just like be the toothless, clawless tiger who has to get defeated by like the Roman emperor by Fuck, what's Aurelius's kid? Marcus Aurelius, the meditations guy. Yeah, and the Roman emperor that everyone thought was like, this guy rocks. We like him. And then his son who took over, was it Commodorus or like fucking Ferris Bueller, whatever the fuck his name was. Anyway, he just loved the Colosseum, and he was just like, yes, give me guys who aren't allowed to defeat me, and then he would just like beat the shit out of them. That's kind of what the Paul guy is doing to Mike Tyson a little bit. Not that like I'm not saying Mike Tyson wasn't allowed to beat him up. I mean, I guess he wasn't simply by like laws of nature. The fact that he's like 60 and the other guy's like not 30 yet. Like the torrent of time that washes over you and withers your bones is not gonna care about like your heavyweight champion belt. That's over. I think I could beat Mike Tyson. Like, I haven't really done anything like of that kind of exercise in my entire life. I'm kind of a walking girly. That's kind of my thing. That's how I get my thing. I do like some very light exercise, like stretches and that kind of stuff. That's mostly maintenance. I'm not very sporty. I'm more of I have an artistic temperament, you see. Still, like, give him 5 years. Meet me when like Mike Tyson is in his 60s, and I could probably take him out. It would take a while. I don't think I have like a very heavy punch. Especially not like as 3 years go on, unless I suddenly start like really training for it. But that's actually a good point. If I started training to fight Mike Tyson in 3 years, like seriously, and like he just did the same, but he is 3 years older, I'd win. No fucking doubt in my mind. And that's not me saying that I'm strong or great or I have any potential. I'm saying that he's a senior citizen. And that's just kind of how it goes. It's unfair. It's not fair that you can put in all that effort and then just get dollar whacked by some asshole. Dollar whack? What's that from? That's John McAfee. The fucking the McAfee guy. He had a tattoo that went dollar whacked because that was back when he was running from different governments that wanted to arrest him for being like a criminal. When he was like, I'm not gonna be like Epstein. If I ever kill myself in prison, that's gonna be because I got dollar whacked. That's the one. That one was I don't know where that came from. I actually do think McAfee did kill himself. I find it highly unlikely that like someone sent in like a hitman to fake the suicide of John McAfee. Like, I just don't know why you would have to do that. It's not like an Epstein situation. He doesn't have dirt on anyone. He's John McAfee. Like, I'm very sympathetic to, like, the Epstein conspiracy stuff. I'm not gonna, like, go into fucking, like, I think that's, like, a likely understandable case. I don't like it when people go, I think Hillary Clinton personally walked in with, like, leather gloves and a cane sword and just killed him on the spot. That's kind of dumb. If anyone, it would have been Trump, right? Like, he was the president of the United fucking States of America when Epstein killed himself, allegedly, or maybe got assassinated. Like, he definitely had a lot to... I'm not saying Bill Clinton wouldn't do it, but, like, wouldn't he have done that when he was president? Right? Like, this is not, like, one guy is more just in killing him than the other. I just think, like, it seems unlikely in that case. But John McAfee? I think he just actually, like... I don't think he was happy in a Spanish prison. Those are pretty famous for... or infamous, should I rather say, for, like, being really ass. I wouldn't want to be in a Spanish prison. Well, I wouldn't want to be in any prison, except, well, I am in Denmark, which means, like... No, I also think our prisons are kind of bad. Maybe Norway? Norway might still be good. I know there's all those, like, stories about them just kind of... like, oh, well, welcome to jail, my friend. We're gonna, I don't know, do you like making cakes and, like, I don't know, gardening? That's probably not true. It's probably, like, some awful shit that goes on in that. But, like, it's a nice thought. But I would not want to be in a Spanish prison for sure. I think that might actually just have broke John McAfee's spirit. I don't think he would, like... I don't think he had the resilience. Also, he's a guy who loved his freedom freedom to torment locals and like buy like businesses and be like kind of an evil fucker. I'm sorry if you're a great John McAfee fan. I thought he was kind of funny sometimes. With like the whole story about like the myth about fucking a whale at a party or something. I don't know, it's kind of been a while. That era of like Twitter loving, anime pandering like rich boys is kind of over. Elon Musk used to be kind of the same thing for a while, like the Grimes era, where he was talking about like anime and shit. What's that one time where someone was asking him like, do you like this thing, and he just like answered one phrase from it. I don't even remember what it was. It was basically like the equivalent of someone going, Elon Musk, please tell me you like Dune, and he just like comments capital letters worm. I don't remember what it was though. Anyway, he's like not at all like that anymore. Like the weird myth of like the progressive but like economically conservative libertarian kind of guy, that's kind of like not a thing anymore. No one wants to see a 57-year-old man with like a Joseph Joestar avatar talk about like fucking election news and conspiracy theories and like movies on like a YouTuber's podcast while like also being very rich. Like that's not a thing. Maybe they do. I don't. It just seems out of the zeitgeist, you know? Especially, I think maybe it's because like new media isn't surprising anymore. Like Joe Rogan is just like the guy who's the kingmaker of the US now. Like that's apparently like something that really could have an impact on the outcome of the world, is whoever some like failed comedian bald fuck like talks to for 2 hours on this like really shitty podcast. Who the fuck is listening to the Joe Rogan Experience, man? Like, no offense if you're doing it, but like, why? Isn't it like tiring? I've listened to a few episodes like a few years back. I don't remember with who, probably Bill Burr. I think I did listen to the Cornel West one before he fully went like third positionist. What's the I don't know. It's definitely been a while. I don't ever think Rogan was like there wasn't a golden era of Rogan. But goddamn, if this isn't like the evil era of Rogan, you know? I don't get how you like go from like the kind of I'm just kind of above it all. I like being somewhat tolerant, just make it a bit of fun, to being like I am going to extremely self-seriously become like a right-wing commentator old man. It is fucked up. Like, I know maybe this is where like being old, this is where it's kind of fair, because yeah, you do like get extremely weak and your bones are gonna ache, but a lot of like motherfuckers kind of turn evil. You know, like it's kind of even play, because imagine if like becoming a bit of like an old conservative newspaper reading like dime warding cheapskate like guy who doesn't like the young people anymore kind of shit, who doesn't like relate to people who are doing the exact same shit you did 30 years ago. Maybe you should be easier to kill. Maybe that's just kind of fair. Yeah, I think that kind of checks. I don't know how it works in the animal world. I don't know if like the silverback gorilla is just like he needs the silverback simply to like send a signal to everyone else, or if they don't wither as quick. Like, is an older male gorilla really that like not capable of defending himself against like a younger guy? Now I'm being Joe Rogan. I'm over here talking about fucking monkeys. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Well, to be fair, you shouldn't really own that. Like, monkeys do kind of rock. I draw a little monkey myself. I'm a little bit of somewhat of an auteur, if you can believe it. And I like drawing this little sailor who's a large gibbon, a white-handed gibbon, if you will. And like he kind of swings around and goes on fucking crazy adventure fishing for bananas. that stuff's kind of like that's kind of fun. I love looking at gibbons. I think they're definitely some of my favorite primates, lesser primates, if you will. Like, I don't know, I think their overly long arms are just really charming. They are basically like little monkeys, but they get to be primates, and I think that kind of rocks. There are also some of the few like apes that like aren't in Africa, together with the orangutan. The orangutan? The orange utan. You ever seen that video of a bunch of like little baby orangutans being trained in like one of those like Bornean like orphanages for those poor fucking animals, and apparently like every ape has a reaction like as instinct when they see a snake, but they need to learn that it should either be like fear or murder. So they just got like a guy to like throw a rubber snake in front of these little baby animals, and then he just like they get scared and like bundle up, which is good. They had the right reaction, and then he shows like a further reaction by then picking up a stick and just beating the shit out of this little snake, and to demonstrate like this is what you should do if you saw a snake. If you saw Joe Rogan. For ruining the monkey cred. Then he saw like dumbbells shaped like chimp heads or some shit. I don't know. Sorry to the Joe Rogan fan still listening to this. I wonder if there is a Comfy Cozy Joe Rogan fan. That would be funny. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get parasocial. Like, obviously, like, I have more of a memory of you than you have of me. It's nothing... that sounds kind of manipulative. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying, like... I'm one guy, and I occasionally like would hang out here, and like I kind of remember names and associations. I don't know. I like kind of having that stick, but like you motherfuckers had like a whole like gang out here, you know. Like there's a lot to remember with that. But I don't think any of the Comfy Coasters would be big Rogan heads. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe fucking, maybe Imogen is just like sitting there every week waiting for the Rogan drop, lifting their chimp head dumbbells. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. That's in poor taste. Anyway, I should probably wrap this up now. This may be the little one episode that I put out of this. Or maybe I'll just like actually do it again if I get bored or think it's funny. Again, I don't know. You can't really tell with me. I'm kind of wild that way. I think the best way to stop me is like with any like bully in a schoolyard and just like ignore me. That's definitely like... But then again, that might... Because I'm a bit of a contrarian. So like if I like share this and literally no one pays attention to it, now, that would be kind of sad. But, now here's the other way. That's a little phone vibration, excuse me. How unprofessional. That might be kind of shit. But imagine if I did like 10 with 0 views. Now that's funny again. That's a good one. Anywho. Folks, please do take care. Please let me know if you go and watch any of the mentioned movies or anything. I don't know. I'm hanging out. I'm free. I'm available. Not really. I'm also like doing some other stuff. Got some exams coming up. Got some other stuff. Reading a very interesting book on American history by Daniel Walker Howe. I actually don't know how to say that. It's called What Hath God Wrought, and it's about American history between 1812 to 1860, and it's pretty good. If you're interested in that, go check that out. That's pretty good. You know, I don't know. I think that's a pretty interesting little era. I used to really like Blood Meridian by Cormac McCarthy, and then of course Recent Discoveries came out, and now I don't like it anymore. So yeah. That's for another time, if that piques your interest. Please do take care, and remember that